And the only way you get chosen to be a champion is that if you personify what CMN is all about. He's a brave kid. He's gone through a lot of things. And within the next few months, he'll be going to Washington, D.C. to talk to legislators about the importance of CMN and how it has affected and changed his life and made his life better. And then he gets to go to Orlando, Florida. I just heard a few minutes ago. And he's going to go there and meet all the other CMN champions, boys and girls of all ages who are going all over the country, just really talking about the miracles that happen at CMN. And the wonderful thing is that the fact that all of you are here today is that we're helping those miracles happen. And Sim is our spokesperson for that. And so I don't want to steal his thunder and tell you all the great things that I know about him, because I think you should hear it directly from Sim and his mom, Vicki. So please welcome Sim and Vicki Scott.
Hi everyone, my name is Sim, and I am 9 years old, and I want to thank you for allowing me here today to speak to you. I'm in the 4th grade, and I'm in the Honors Peace program. I really enjoy school, and some of my favorite things there are art, choir, and going to the library. I get to do the announcements at school a couple of times a month, which is pretty neat. I have an older brother named Seth who has autism and basically doesn't talk. I have a younger brother named Zane who has mild autism, who actually talks quite a bit. But that's okay because he talks about pretty interesting things. We have 3 cats and 3 dogs too, so you've got a busy house. Some of the things that I like to do are cooking, doing 4-wheeling in our Hummer, reading, swimming in our pool, a rare trip to Krispy Kreme as a treat, yum, and going to my granny's house. On top of school and homework, I've just started going to martial arts classes with my brother Zane, and we have already had our first belt promotion. This March we got to have fun in Angels baseball, and we are all looking forward to Angels soccer in the fall. I'm going to list off some of the places we have gone to in this already busy spring. The Phineas and Ferb Live Show, Jump Street to Jump on Trampolines, the Dallas Museum of Art for Autism Awareness Family Day, the DFW Family Expo, the Cowboy Stadium for my first Monster Truck show, IHOP on Pancake Day for CMN, the Plano Symphony, my older brother's school for his choir performance and short solo, the American Airlines Center for a Stars hockey game, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in Fort Worth to see where money is made, the Star Center where we went ice skating, Studio Movie Grill for 4 different movie screenings for special needs families, in the House of Blues where I was invited to go see musician Hunter Hayes perform, and I even got to meet him before he went on stage. Mom won tickets to see FC Dallas play in Frisco, so I got to see my first pro soccer game, which I loved. Over Easter weekend, we went to visit family in Wichita Falls, where we walked in the Autism Awareness fundraising walk in support of my 2 brothers. Okay, now that I have told you some things about me and what I do, now it's time for a pop quiz. I hope you are all paying attention. Just kidding. Now I'll back up a bit and tell you what I went through medically to give you a better idea of how significant my ability to do all those things really is. In June of 2009, my mom made an appointment for me with our family doctor. She had noticed my eye crossing, and the day before the appointment, I had started making some unusual sounds. Even though he couldn't see anything wrong in the tests he had me perform, he was concerned by the vision and speech symptoms Mom described, so he ordered an MRI for me. While I was waking up from the anesthesia, the radiologist herself came and motioned my mom out of the room, where she told her that I had a brain tumor in the very center of my head, and I needed to go that day to check into Dallas Children's Medical Center. So off we went. My type is is called an astrocytoma, and this one was about the size of a bouncy ball, and it was growing up from the brainstem and right in the middle of my head. The next morning, my neurosurgeon, Dr. Sacco, ordered another brain MRI, so I got put to sleep in less than 24 hours. It was kind of a strange situation that I was in. Here I was feeling fine, but confined to a hospital bed, being poked, prodded, and questioned, and not really sure what in the world was going on. People were coming by to visit, lots of calls were coming in and going out, and I sat in bed patiently and smiled back at everyone who kept smiling at me. After several days in bed taking high doses of steroids, I had my first brain surgery. This one was just to create the drain to relieve pressure in my head and to take a biopsy of my tumor. After that first surgery, it was determined my tumor was too large to be handled by chemotherapy only, so the decision was made to operate again, this time to take out as much as possible. I was sent home to rest and recover for over 6 weeks while waiting for that big surgery to roll around. My memories from that summer waiting for surgery are kind of hazy. I was so tired. That I do remember. Finally, surgery day rolled around. Mom, Dad, and I rode to the hospital very early in the morning. We were all smiles in the pre-op room that morning. My IV was started, and at some point I was given happy juice so that I would be relaxed. It seemed like all of a sudden my bed was being wheeled out into the hall. That goodbye was the one time I cried since my diagnosis. I have a zigzag scar from ear to ear so they could remove a big section of skull from my surgery. And now I have a few little plates and screws from where it was put back. The doctor only took my hair right along that incision instead of shaving it all off, so that was good. 8 hours after we said see you soon, my parents saw me in the recovery room, but I was not awake like I was expected to be. It actually took about another 21 hours before I started to stir at all, so I was in ICU longer than planned. Overall, it took several more days to really wake up, actually. My neurosurgeon was able to remove 90 to 95% of the tumor, so he did a great job. When I was finally moved to a room on the neuro floor, I was surprised how hard it was to move, to walk, to talk, and even to eat. So I needed some help with all of that. I knew everything I was going through was for my own good, but I have to say that I really disliked the breathing therapy. On a side note, I learned that I really liked cheese omelets, and when I found out I could order them for every meal, I pretty much did. It seemed that before I knew it, it was time to go home. Even though I was less than 3 weeks out from the big surgery, I was allowed to start second grade on time with everyone else. But in the beginning, I did have to rest a lot, even at school. Since mine is a slow-growing type of tumor, it was decided best to hold off on chemotherapy or radiation treatments for the tumor that cannot be safely removed from my brainstem. Instead, I go for hour-long MRIs several times a year. If there is ever any change, he said I will automatically begin chemo and radiation. For months after my surgeries, I had short-term memory problems, but that has improved by a whole lot. I have muscle weakness on the right side of my body, so my head tilts to the right. The vision in my right eye went from 20/30 to 23/20 before it was caught. I have fine motor dexterity issues in my right hand, and since I am right-handed, it makes writing a bit challenging when you consider the vision issues with it. I do still tire easily and need more rest than my brothers. My overall growth began slowing down as the tumor got big enough to cause trouble, and since surgery growth has been very slow. Along with my MRIs, I am seen several times a year by my ophthalmologist, endocrinologist, neuro-oncologist, and the pulmonologist I see for my allergies and reactive airway disease, though every once in a while there are other specialists I see. I had the opportunity to go to the hospital in December of 2009 for the annual radiothon to raise money for Children's Miracle Network, and after that I've been asked to speak several times now to continue other to continue to inspire others to help too. Here I am, a real boy, a real patient, a patient with a story to share that helps show those who hear me who they are helping. Instead of a nameless child in a medical crisis, maybe you'll think of me when you're working so hard on your projects to raise money for Children's Miracle Network. I've had to go through a lot, but there are so many children going through way more than I ever did, and it is important that those kids get the help they really need too. I can do all those things I told you about in the beginning of my talk because of the excellent care I received at the hospital. I'm a brain tumor patient, yes, but that is not what I really want people to think of me as being. I'm a regular boy living my life, but I am also a voice for the kids who need it. Parents should be focused on their kids who are in the hospital, not worrying at the moment where the money is going to come from to pay the bills if they don't have health insurance. And not every family is as lucky as mine on that. The hospitals need money to keep their doors open to treat those kids since no child is turned away. And that is where we all come in. If telling my story helps make that happen, then I'll tell it to everyone who will listen. The morning that I got to go home after the big surgery, I said something my mom's never forgotten. I had been wheeled down to the lobby in a little red wagon to wait for my dad to bring the car around. I was laying there watching kids come in with their parents, and I said to her, "When I grow up, I want to be a doctor in a hospital to help kids like me." What I realized is that I didn't have to wait until I grew up to help those kids. Helping is something I can do right now, and I'm fortunate to have had the chance to do that here with you today. Thank you for all that you do for Children's Miracle Network, and keep up the wonderful work.
Yay!
Thank you, Sim, for that wonderful testimony. And I know I speak for everybody here to say that we have no doubt that you will be the best doctor this country has ever seen. We are so, so proud of everything that you're doing and inspiring all of us along in the process. So thank you so, so much for sharing that. And I also wanted to thank Vicki. As a mother that also has special needs children and I'm surprised we've never ran into each other at different appointments. I know what it's like, and you know, the life of being a taxi driver back and forth and calling the insurance companies nonstop. So someone needs to give this woman a bottle of wine before the end of the afternoon. So thank you all so, so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So now that we have heard